Hi, this is Jen Rubin, and this is Jen Rubin's Green Room. As we sit here on Tuesday, we do not yet know the results of the New York 3rd. That is the seat that George Santos once held. And they're filling that seat in a special election, and it's important for several reasons. First of all, every seat for Democrats is one seat closer to winning back the majority. Secondly, Republicans are still trying to impeach Secretary Mayorkas, and again, every vote counts. And third of all, I think it's an indication that once again, when voters get to the polls, the results are often quite different than when pollsters ask them. So we'll see how that turns out. The next big piece of news, of course, is in the Senate, they overwhelmingly passed the aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. This was without the border measure because, of course, Republicans, after insisting they had to have a border security measure, voted against it and insisted they had to vote on something without the border security. So they voted on it. And what do you think Speaker Johnson had to say? Of course, we're demanding that we get a border security measure. These people were the same ones who, yes, were saying that the border security measure was a bad idea and they wanted to save the issue for Donald Trump for next year when they presume he'll be back in the White House. Wrongly, I hope. So this is a joke. Worst, it is just a sign of how cynical, how irresponsible the Republicans are. They would rather see America harmed than lose their chance at keeping their seats and electing their cult leader. And it has been that way from day one, since he rode down that elevator, and it continues to this very day. Now, President Biden also came out today to announce his support, obviously, for the Ukraine security bill. He urged the House to act. And what's more, he read the riot act to Donald Trump, which I hope he does every day between now and the election. He called his invitation to Putin to invade NATO dumb. He called it un-American. And you know what else it is? It's treasonous. Because remember, the NATO treaty, Article 5, says an attack on one is an attack on all. So in inviting Putin to attack our NATO allies, yes, Donald Trump is inviting an attack on the United States. And that's how depraved he is. Forget about the world order, forget about European security, forget about our alliances. He's encouraging a dictator to attack us because NATO is one. And we should never forget that he would sell this country, and he has sold this country down the drain at the drop of the hat if he thinks it benefits him and it's going to get him closer to what he wants, which is exoneration and dictatorial power. So we should keep that in mind as time goes forward. I would also add that President Biden did something very, I think, clever, without diminishing the meaning of that term, in conditioning aid to Israel and all of our military aid beneficiaries on compliance with international law, and that includes protection and humanitarian assistance for civilians. This is the first time that Israel will be subject to such restrictions, and the president, not wanting to single Israel out, simply executed the order as it applies to all recipients. Now, does he have Israel specifically in mind? Of course he does. And of course he is losing patience with Benjamin Netanyahu. Who would not? After all, he has been a completely intractable, belligerent force. He continues in a coalition with rabidly racist coalition partners. He has prioritized fighting to the last man on the Hamas side over a ceasefire that would release the hostages. So, of course, President Biden is frustrated with him, and he continues to press for more humanitarian aid. He continues to press not to go forward with military action on Rafah until such plans are made for civilians. And so he's walking a line. He's walking a careful line. On one hand, Israel remains an ally, and the Israeli people are aligned with us. It's not like the Israeli people love Benjamin Netanyahu. On the contrary, he's got about 15% support. So when you see masses of Israelis out there protesting, they should know that America is with them. They stand with an Israel that is democratic, that is humane, and that has a genuine interest in peace. So, lots to think about this week. So if you like this program and you like our other programs, please let your friends know. They can subscribe and follow at YouTube, at Apple Podcasts, at Spotify, or wherever they get their podcasts. Bye-bye.